Brought to you by Wall Street Prison Consultants.
Hi, I'm Olivia, a custody advisor at Wall Street Prison Consultants. Today we're going to discuss the safety valve sentencing reductions and how it applies to first-time offenders in criminal narcotics cases. A mandatory minimum is a predetermined sentence which the court must give to a person convicted of a crime. A mandatory minimum sentence applies automatically, no matter what the unique circumstances of the offender or the offense are. There are mandatory minimums for many crimes, but they most often apply to gun and drug crimes. Mandatory minimums are triggered by only a few facts, usually just the type and weight of the drug involved, or the possession or presence of a gun. A safety valve is one of the only ways out of receiving a mandatory minimum sentence. Safety valves are laws created by Congress that allow courts to give an offender less time in prison than the mandatory minimum requires, but only if the person or his offense meets certain special requirements. The law was created in 1994, when Congress realized that many first-time nonviolent drug offenders were receiving mandatory minimums that did not fit them or their crimes. The federal safety valve is a strict, 5-part test and requires 5 requirements of the law to be met. The court must sentence a person below the mandatory minimum, generally by using the federal sentencing guidelines to create a sentence that fits the offender and his crime. Here is an example. A person is convicted of selling 28 grams of crack cocaine. The federal mandatory minimum sentence for this offense is 5 years. However, the person meets all 5 requirements of the federal safety valve. 1. No one was harmed during the offense. 2. The person has little or no history of criminal convictions. 3. The person did not use violence or a gun. 4. The person was not a leader or organizer of the offense, and 5. The person told the prosecutor all that he knows about the offense. The court will use the sentencing guidelines and give the person a sentence below the mandatory minimum, for example, 3 years in prison instead of 5. Example number 2. If a first-time offender is convicted of selling a substance containing 500 grams of methamphetamine, they are exposed to 10-year mandatory minimum sentence. But if they were to meet all the criteria of the safety valve as a first-time offender, they would be eligible to receive a sentence of 70 months. The primary purpose of the federal criminal sentencing safety valve is to address the disproportionate sentencing outcomes that can result from mandatory minimum sentences. Mandatory minimums often do not take individual circumstances into account and can lead to overly harsh sentences for offenders who may have played a minor role in the offense or who have cooperated with authorities. For more information and assistance on qualifying for the safety valve, you should consider hiring a prison consultant. Now, let's talk about Wall Street Prison Consultants. Hiring Wall Street Prison Consultants when facing federal criminal charges can provide valuable support and guidance through a complex and intimidating process and help defendants take advantage of programs offering substantial early release. Here's why someone in this situation might consider hiring them. While there's no shortage of criminal defense attorneys to represent defendants in the courtroom, most attorneys' knowledge of custody ends at the prison gates, leaving clients to fend for themselves after the judge renders sentencing. According to legal statistics, 97% of those charged are convicted, with thousands of white-collar defendants sentenced to federal prison each year, the majority being first-time offenders clueless what to expect upon entering custody. Wall Street's services begin long before a defendant even goes inside, and continues after release. Depending on when retained, they guide clients through indictment, trial, pleas, sentencing, and prison survival all the way through supervised release. By using their services, clients develop an edge when dealing with their lawyers. Wall Street takes the mystery out of the judicial court process by educating clients with easy-to-understand step-by-step explanations on federal criminal statutes, indictments, and how it applies to them. so they can make educated decisions about their case and understand the ramifications of a criminal trial versus taking a plea agreement. As I'm sure you're aware, prisons can be dangerous places, and having knowledge about prison policies, early release programs, medical care, inmate jobs, dealing with gangs, staff interactions, and the basic politics surrounding incarceration are the keys to surviving successfully and returning home safely. Many defendants are often confused listening to lawyers, friends, and family members about what will happen to them and whether hiring a prison survival consultant is helpful at all. While others may have opinions, they are typically not qualified opinions. And once sentenced, it's the defendant's freedom and safety at stake, with everyone else's well-meaning opinions being worthless. When going to prison, knowledge is key, and hiring a prison consultant with facts instead of uninformed viewpoints can be the difference between early release and spending unnecessary time in custody. Wall Street Prison Consultants have detailed knowledge of both the federal legal system and the inner workings of the federal prison system. Their expertise can demystify the process for defendants and their families and help them prepare for what lies ahead by offering strategies and advice on how to reduce sentencing length through various legal channels and inmate programs, focusing on aspects legal teams might overlook. If a prison sentence is unavoidable, Wall Street prepares defendants for the realities of prison life, teaches them survival tactics, and helps with the emotional transition from freedom to confinement, as well as securing designation to a preferred facility that meets an inmate's needs and aligns with their specific security level or health requirements. Wall Street offers support in planning for life after release, including supervised release requirements and re-entry into society, and doesn't make false promises, but provide a realistic view of the situation and what can be done to mitigate it. While they are not lawyers, they often work in conjunction with legal teams to make sure that all aspects of the defendant's situation are being considered and offer more personalized and continuous support compared to a legal team, especially during the post-trial and imprisonment stages. In essence, they can provide comprehensive support tailored to the unique needs and challenges faced by someone charged with a federal crime, and help them navigate through both the legal and prison systems. It's a specialized service that can add an extra layer of support and guidance that complements the legal defense, but doesn't replace the need for competent legal representation. For more information, contact the director and founder of Wall Street Prison Consultants, Larry Levine, at 213-948-1069, or by email at help@wallstreetprisonconsultants.com. Or visit us on the web at wallstreetprisonconsultants.com.